Tanakh more often. So the reason why in the past they did not learn Tanakh more often, there's basically two reasons. One reason is because the Gemara says that you're supposed to learn, or you divide up your day of learning Torah into three parts. Shlish b'mikra, shlish b'mishnah, shlish b'talmud. A third of your day should be involved in Tanakh, a third of your day should be involved in Mishnah, and a third of your day should be involved in Talmud. So Talmud means Pilpulim and what we call Gemara. However, Rabbeinu Tam says that the word Talmud Bavli, besides Bavli meaning from the place of Bavel, Bavli also means mixed up, or Balul, that it's a mix, it has in it everything. It has Mikra and Mishnah. So Rabbeinu Tam therefore said this rule doesn't apply today of learning. It's only before the Gemara was written that rule apply of learning a third Mikra, a third Mishnah, and a third Talmud. Instead, today you should learn just Talmud, because Talmud has in itself everything. So this is one explanation why in the past there wasn't such a need to learn Tanakh for itself, because when you learned Gemara you ended up learning Psukim as well. Another reason which happened about 200 years ago is there was the Maskilim, there were a group of Yidden that Nebuch, they were memish against Yiddishkeit, the whole story, and these Yidden, they went and they convinced children to go away from their homes and to go to learn in the Goyish schools, and they contaminated their minds. It's a very, very long story of how they did it, how their whole plan was. It's actually just today in the Chumash test just now, the question of Ayachra Yitzchak Harod Godless. So the answer is that the reason why Yitzchak was so afraid is because he saw Gehenim opening up under Esav. And that story, that Arichus, that's actually one of the things that happened, that when this person, his name was Shimon HaKofer, so he came into the Alter Rebbe to try to convince the Alter Rebbe also about his greatness. So the Alter Rebbe asked him, when you teach children this pasuk, how do you teach it? He says he doesn't say that pshat. How can a big Gehenim fit in such a small room? V'chulu v'chulu. In any event, the Maskilim, one of their powers, one of their strategies is that they came with a very thorough knowledge of Tanakh and a very thorough knowledge of Dikduk. So since they were the ones that most people did not know Tanakh well or Dikduk well, so therefore they were able to show that they know how to learn better than everybody else. So after the Klal Yisrael was burnt by them, when they saw what these people really did, they became very weary, very nervous. Any person that was very into Tanakh or into Dikduk, they were very afraid. And therefore, it became a thing to stay away from Tanakh and Dikduk. So that's the reason. That reason doesn't really apply today anymore with Pashtus, but that was the reason. And the other reason, what I said before, is that the Gemara has everything. At the same time, it's definitely a thing to do. And Adarabah, if a Bachrim want to learn Tanakh, there's always Bachrim throughout the years that learn Tanakh in their own time. But the general yeshiva setting goes according to Rabbeinu Tam, that Talmud Bavli has in itself everything. Next question, can you make a misha beirach for Trump? So actually, in the Siddur, this is the old Siddurim. In the Siddur, I'm old Siddurim. Today there's so many new Siddurim, but these Siddurim, on the Shabbos davening, between the Yukum Purkon and then from the Birkas HaChodesh, there's how much small letters over here. Now they're telling us different instructions about the Rosh Chodesh, Chadoshim, and so on. And the older prints, at this piece over here, there was a Misha Beirach for the President of the United States. And if I'm not mistaken, the Friedrich Rebbe is the one that instituted it. Until today, many Chabad houses have a Seder where they make a Misha Beirach for the President. So it's an accepted thing. I'm not sure why it was taken out. There's probably a history behind it, but it's definitely okay. And it's not for Trump, it's for whoever the President is. In all the years, whoever the President was, there are Chabad houses that they, every year, no matter if they agree with the President or not, at the end of the day, he is the one that the Eibishter appointed to be in charge of this country, and therefore they make a Misha Beirach for him, and the Pashas is something which is okay.
Can we do it here?
What?
Can we do it here?
No.
We'll do it.
So they don't say his mother's name, just say the President, that's it. How far does the din of Dina de Malchusa Dina go? Are you over if you speed on the road or if you drink underage? So I actually did some research to look it up, and it seems like indeed, yes, Dina de Malchusa Dina applies to any reasonable law. However, there's one prat which makes it makes it very, very gray. And that is any law that the law enforcement enforce, that's a kind of law which is under the rule of Dina de Malchusa Dina. So, if you're driving, the speed limit is 55 miles per hour, and you're going 60 miles per hour, I would say that 99.9% of police officers will not stop you. even 100%, but just in case there would be, but derech klal you won't be stopped. If you go, when it's 55, if you go 65, that already depends on the state, depends on the city, depends where you are. Some places they will, some places they won't. So the places where even the police will see you and they will not stop you, that means that even the government agrees this is not a real law. So they made that such a kind of speeding is not included in the rule of dinah de malchus din. However, if you're speeding, let's say if it's 55 and you're going 75, then I think everyone would stop you, and therefore that would be included in the isur. And besides the sakana aspect of it, there's also a problem of dinah de malchus din. Regarding drinking underage, is the same thing. Some places they're going to go around and anybody that's slightly tipsy, so the police will stop him and try to interrogate him. And some places they're going to be more lenient about it. So if the dinah, the malchusa that you're in, is enforcing this law, then in addition to the isur of, if it's something which makes sense, so to speak, it's also connected to the isur of dinah, the malchusa dinah. Huh? I think that in Postville they'll be makbid. If they see you drunk, they're going to make problems. So besides the Chil Hashem aspect, there's another problem as well. What can a bacher do to bring Mashiach on a day-to-day basis? So when I saw the question, I hoped that I wouldn't have to answer the question. I hope that by the time that Q&A comes, the Mashiach will be here already. But a lot of times people have these kind of questions. Okay, let's make a chodah. For the next 3 years, we're going to do so and so to bring Mashiach. So the whole concept of Mashiach coming is so foreign, people don't even realize how absurd that is. On a day-to-day basis, like we're going to live now for another 20 years in Godless, so we have to figure out every day what to do for Mashiach. Our hope is that right now Mashiach should walk in, this second should walk in. There's a story, I think it's Rabbi Wrights, his father, Alav Shalom, that he was once outside in 770, he was talking to some friends about how Mashiach is going to come, how it's going to be, and the Rebbe opened the door, the Rebbe said, just like that. Suddenly, just like that, that's you have to appear. Al-Kopani, but the question is still a valid question. As long as we are in Godless, we have to do whatever we can to bring Mashiach. And the answer is Torah mitzvahs bichlal, but specifically, the only thing that Rebbe added specifically is to learn in Yonei Gula Mashiach. This famous Sikhat of Shonaf that we spoke about, that learning in Yonei Gula Mashiach, that's the derech hayishara, the straight and direct path to bring Mashiach. So that's the thing that you're looking to add to bring Mashiach. You should be learning in Yonei Gula Mashiach. Learning in Yonei Gula Mashiach. That itself means you can learn the Rambam on Hilchas Mashiach, and then you can learn the Gemara in Masechta Sanhedrin, the Perek Chelik. There's a lot of things about Mashiach, and then the Sichas of the Rebbe, Tovshin and Aleph and Beis, and then Bechlal, Chassidus in general can also be included in Gula Mashiach. Chassidus talks about Erin Soif, the Giluyim of Erin Soif, which is going to happen when Mashiach comes. We're going to see all that Begilui. What's best, to daven solo brachas or to daven with him fast minyan and say amen to everything? Not exactly sure what the options are, but b'derech klal it's best to daven slowly and say every word, and even though the minyan's ahead of you, you should continue at your own pace. I'm not sure if the bracha meant something else, and to write it again more clear. But in general, that's the rule. There's a famous in Sefer HaMenhagim, it says over there that the Ha'irah for people that want to daven barichas is they should even wait till after the minyan is finished, and they should answer Amen and Kaddish and everything, and only afterwards to begin davening. So that doesn't apply to everybody, but definitely to start davening and daven slow, that's definitely a Ha'irah for everybody. The Rebbe even once told somebody that your machshava zaras and davening should be, where is the chazan up to? Like you should be davening with the minyan at your own pace. You should wonder, did he get ahead of you? How far ahead of you is he? There's a few questions that came in about me personally, and I threw out a whole bunch of them because I already said that questions about me I'm not mechayiv to answer. But just a few questions that Bachram are asking. What's your opinion on black holes or the Mariana Trench? You know what it is? Black holes are some kind of unexplained phenomena in outer space, and the Mariana Trench is the deepest part of the Pacific Ocean. What's my opinion? My opinion is this is Nifloi Sabayra. This just shows how much great the Eibishter is, and that we're so much that science doesn't know and doesn't understand. And you're learning about these things, noticing about these things, that appreciates the believable of the Eibishter. Second question was, can I have a debate with Rabbi Eli? So there's a program, there's an idea that's come up with an Anhola trying maybe another mitzvah, something to do something called debates in the secular schools, is a concept called debating, where the students get up and debate different topics. So we have this idea to have debates in the yeshiva. For example, longer pious versus short pious, or other things like that, other inyanim in Yiddishkeit and Chassidishkeit and so on. And if we end up doing those debates, then maybe we'll volunteer to do one between me and him. But the derech klal we agree on most topics, so it's going to be a bit hard for us. Huh? Instead of kluger, it's going to be in addition to kluger if it happens. Last question about me: do you like living in Postville? I think that in Godless, the best place in the world in Godless is Postville. There's no other better place in the world. I had this argument with many people. Any mature person that listens to my arguments agrees to me that it's the healthiest place to live. Immature people and other kinds of people also disagree. There's a certain individual reasons why people might disagree, but for the most part, this is in Godless, this is the best place in the world to live. And whoever lives in Postville and disagrees with me is going against the Gemara. And whoever doesn't live in Postville and agrees with me is also going against the Gemara. Because the Gemara says, Chein mokim al Yeshuv. The Gemara says, there's a story in the Gemara with Yericho, that the city of Yericho, there was a tkufa, that it was very bad, people were sick, there was no water to drink, and they called Elisha Hanavi for help, and they told Elisha it was such a great place to be. So the Gemara asks, if there's the people themselves were saying how terrible it is, how can they at the same time say such a good place? So the Gemara answers, Chein mokim al Yeshua. At the Teva, the Eibishter is, when a person lives somewhere, he likes the place that he lives. So B'meila, that's how it goes. You go against the Gemara, tough on you. There's also a cloud, the grass is always greener on the other side. People think that if they live somewhere else, it'll be so much better. But this is